What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Bacon Loves Movies channel, and today we wage war. We wage war against all that believe that Thomas Jane is not the best Punisher. We wage war against those that think The Punisher 2004 is a bad movie, and we will discuss the fact that this movie is underrated, and you know it. Alright, so I got a little carried away in the intro, and don't worry, we're not going to be waging war on anyone today. But I do want to make it known that the 2004's Punisher is an underrated gem of a movie. For everyone born in the mid-90s or earlier, you probably remember just how awesome this movie was. It was the first time the Punisher has been on the big screen since 1989.
The Punisher.
So it was kind of a big deal. It was also a centerpiece in what I like to call Marvel's R-rated film era. If you recall, we had two Blade movies that came out prior to this, and despite being R-rated, they were very well received by fans and actually did pretty good at the box office, demonstrating that there was a large adult audience to be tapped into for superhero movies. And Thomas Jane's version of Frank Castle was everything you wanted and expected from the character. He brought an intense, confident, and brooding demeanor while still bringing an element of humanity to the Punisher. The fact that he takes a lot of damage and barely survives some of his encounters with highly competent opponents adds a realism to this film that is kind of lost on some of the other portrayals of this character. Thomas Jane also brought an incredible but achievable natural physique to the character that was a nice change of pace from the obviously enhanced one-man army action films from decades prior. I remember when I was a teenager, I said, I'm going to look like that one day. Now, I still haven't, but if I start my diet tomorrow, there's still time. And the movie is incredibly brutal. The beginning scene where Howard's men butcher Frank's entire family is the kind of stuff that just sticks with you. They literally spared no one. And I mean no one. Men, women, children, they killed them all. And everyone knows that there is an unspoken rule in cinema that the children are off limits. Not this movie. The film also has a great and very 2000s supporting cast. You had John Travolta as the main villain, the vengeful mob boss Howard Saint. And sure, he overacted at times, but I still found his performance very enjoyable. You also have Rebecca Romijn, which I actually just found out how to pronounce that recently, who most notably played Mystique in the X-Men movies. I think it was safe to say that she was probably every teenage boy's crush at the time. Then you have John Panette and Ben Foster's characters who live in the same building as Frank. They offer comic relief and help bring out the softer, human side of Frank, which makes this installment feel unique compared to the others. Will Patton, another great actor from that time period, which is actually making a small resurgence as of late, offers up a great performance and is the subject of a small twist in the movie that I don't want to ruin for you guys. But where this movie really shines is the choices they made when choosing the assassins that are sent to kill Frank throughout the movie. After Frank blows up some of Howard's shipments, Howard realizes that Frank is a real problem that needs to be dealt with immediately. So he hires some very competent assassins to carry out this endeavor. First up, we have Harry Heck, a guitar-wielding assassin that likes to serenade his victims before killing them. The song that he sings Frank in the diner is called In Time and was actually sang by the actor Mark Colley. The song is so good that I still listen to it often. And Mark Colley does such a good job with the character. As soon as he shows up, you feel like you should know who he is. I thought that maybe he was a big movie star from the 70s or 80s, and that due to my lack of knowledge of movies at the time, that maybe I was missing out on a big cameo here. But it turns out he actually has very few credits to his name. But his talent as a singer makes a lot of sense because he actually had a good run as a country singer in the 80s with his hit track, Man in the Moon. Then next up we have WWF and WCW superstar Kevin Nash, who plays as the Russian, and he's kind of the guy you call when all else fails. There are very few actors that actually have the physical dimensions of the comic book characters they play, and they often need assistance from rubber muscle suits, CGI, and crafty camera angles. The guy is a legit behemoth of a man that stands around 6'10" and is jacked out of his mind. The casting couldn't be any more perfect. The fight that ensues between the Russian and Frank is one of the most underrated fights in all of movie history. I don't care what anyone says. There's also a director's cut of this film that I highly recommend you check out, and it offers a lot more context and scenes around how Howard was able to find out who Frank Castle was and how he was able to get to his family. In the theatrical release, they actually skip over a lot of that and leave you to make assumptions on exactly really how Howard was able to get that information. So it makes for a really satisfying director's cut, unlike a lot of other movies that seem to add just a bunch of fluff without substance. Unfortunately, I think the director's cut is only available on physical media, DVD to be exact, so you may want to get a copy while some are still floating out there. The soundtrack to this movie was also amazing, featuring tracks like Step Up by Drowning Pool, Eyes Wired Shut by Edgewater, and Broken by Seether and Amy Lee. all of which are still on my workout playlist. And the Punisher theme song by Carlos Ciliato, which is not available on Apple or Spotify, by the way, and for whatever reason not on the commercially available soundtrack, is one of the best theme songs and matches the movie so well. So all in all, the movie flows very well. The performances punch above the genre's pay grade. The soundtrack is awesome. The action is brutal and exciting. The fights are iconic, and there's hardly ever a dull moment, making it a certified underrated gem. And all right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in for my first long-form video on this channel in a while. I'm going to work a regular job like all of you, and I don't know if you can tell, I'm in like a different shirt. I shot this video in 2 different segments, and it takes a kind of a lot, you know, getting the video clips together, the audio, the lighting, the video, everything. It's kind of more than I thought, to be quite honest with you. So if you could, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.